of any surprise, given the title of the webinar, that there's an explicit content warning today. Yeah, so there might be a few swears, but there normally are when I'm doing stuff. So I hope that's okay with everybody. Uh, yeah, and just to say thank you so much, Jess. Thank you so much for everyone for coming along. These lunchtime lives are proving really popular, and I'm a bit concerned about the benchmark that I'm setting for our guests. I saw Jess do the Fuck the Algorithm talk at Creator Day back in May, and I talked about this a little bit on LinkedIn. It was just such an amazing talk, and it like resonated with me so much, and I agreed with everything. And I think that sometimes you really also need to kind of rehear the stuff you really believe in, for like, but really has had an impact, and it's had an impact on how I like use LinkedIn now. It's kind of like freed me a little bit for what I'm kind of holding myself to. So yeah, and then I left the auditorium, went outside, and Jess was sat outside, and I was like, oh my God, I want to go and talk to her. And she was the only person out there. And I proper bottled it. I proper like went over, swerved, and went over to the coffee stand, and literally stood at the coffee stand going, like, having a word with myself. So did the thing where you kind of know that after everyone's done a talk, like, even though they're probably decompressing, people want to hear that it was good, right? Like, you want to have someone come up to you and go, it was amazing. And genuinely, I thought it was, one of the best talks I've ever seen. So I had a word with myself and thought, what would Jess want me to do? What would Jess tell me to do? My limiting beliefs, put them to the side. And I went up to talk to her. And do you know what? We have become like really good friends. We like hung out at Atomicon together. Um, we've organized this, we're collaborating on loads of things, we'll talk about other things that we're going to collaborate on. So I'm really, really happy that I went up and had a word with myself and said, hey. But yeah, just thank you so much for coming today. Jess is a content strategist, she's a coach. She helps small business babes show up unapologetically online with shit hot content, and also offline at business owner day raves. Thank you for coming today. And
Babe, thank you for having me.
I
You
know,
were like, oh, I couldn't talk to her. I was so starstruck when you came to me. I was like, what do you
I was
mean you're
like,
talking to me?
American Magazine, and I wonder if maybe like we might be able to do some stuff together in the
He was like,
future.
just a little. I was like, wait, you mean the Freelancer magazine, like that
Um,
massive one that everybody knows? That just okay.
um, yeah, so I'm really glad I did that. And if anyone's got things that like questions that they want to put in the chat, introduce yourself to each other in the chat. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat. I know this is going to be like the fastest now 55 minutes of my life. But I will try and keep an eye on it. So yeah, Claire's already put that your glasses are amazing. I kind of want to touch on all of these things. I want to touch on your day raves, on your style, everything. Um, but let's just start with, what do you do now? Like, what are all the elements of your business? And then then I want to talk a little bit about your career journey to that point. But yeah,
Yeah. So, hi everyone. I'm really happy to be here in this space. It's lovely seeing everyone's faces as well. It's like a really gorgeous, vibey room. So I'm excited to be in here. So I am a content strategist and coach, and what that looks like in my day to day is I have a membership. So I run like a DIY templates and community membership called the Content Club. It's not got its own page or anything. It's just like an extension of me. I have a group program that runs twice a year called Watch Us Grow, which is like a 6 month mastermind where I guide people through a journey. And that's like really high touch coaching and then content delivery as well. And I have a one-to-one program, which is again 6 months, and we create your content strategy to help you show up more unapologetically online. My whole thing is helping small business owners, small biz babes show up unapologetically. So finding your confidence, but then also translating that with strategy. So I've got like years and years and years of marketing brain. I worked in corporate and now I'm here. So I take all of that and give you the confidence to show up, but also teach you the strategy to get the conversion in the business.
So you touched on that, like how you've had a corporate background as well, but take us on a bit of a journey how you've, got to this point, how you run this epic brand and business.
Ah, thank you,
Start as
Stephanie.
early as you want. My stories normally start with I was born in.
Well, this is something that didn't actually make it into the talk, Sophie, and I'm excited to tell you. I was never gonna do marketing ever. I was gonna be a Spice Girl.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
What
right.
happened?
Well, so I no, but I was really on the path to be a Spice Girl from 4 years old. I did like Saturday school, and I'd love to know in the chat who your favorite Spice Girl is. Tell me, tell me. I'll
Oh,
tell.
Claire's
I'd
put
love
what
to
spice
know.
would you be?
See, I'm a blend between like posh and baby is where I lean, but I want to know what a sporty, scary. Yeah, ginger. It's true. It's true. Right. So I was going to be a Spice Girl. I did, and I was going to be a singer. So I did, my parents put me into like Saturday school through primary school for singing. I went to musical theatre, secondary school. I did singing in college. I got a 2-1 in pop vocals from uni. Like I was really like on the course. In my second year of uni, I think I was 22, I got really sick. So I thought I just had these really terrible hangovers because I just started drinking and I was like, well, everyone else seems to have a hangover for 1 day or maybe 2 days. Mine are lasting for like 2 weeks. Like, but it must be the drinking because drinking is a new thing in my life. But then it got worse and worse and worse, and my hangovers looked like such excruciating stomach ache and pain and tiredness and fatigue and not being able to do anything. And after a year of going back and forth with my GP, I was diagnosed with something called inflammatory bowel disease, and I was lost a lot of my energy and I got really sick really quickly. And this whole singing thing that I was doing, singing teaching, I was like really on the path. I couldn't make any money from singing anymore. Couldn't do any wedding gigs. I didn't have the energy to do it anymore. So I got a job working at Picture House Cinemas as their events coordinator. And events coordinators, I don't know if anyone's ever worked in events, but they call it events. It's actually marketing. All of it is just getting people to come to the event. It's never just an events job. But yeah, that's how I started my job in marketing. Singing never ever left me. I still like my partner's a musician. I lots of like the work that I've done in corporate has been music has been a big element. As you know, I've just brought music back into my business with my networking day raves. But that
Hmm.
never left and I never felt like a big grief around the music of it all. But I got a job at Picture Cinemas in events and marketing, and that's where I started to learn on the job about how to do
Wow.
this. Yeah,
I feel like we actually, well, we're lucky to have you, as part of our wider community, but like I feel like we also missed out on Jess Spice.
I know. I can
Um,
sing really well. This is why I'm like, don't like if there's ever an event with karaoke, don't bring me. I'm now the mic hog, and I will be Whitney
yeah,
all
and no
night.
one likes a good karaoke singer, really, do they? Like everyone wants everyone else to be as bad as them.
It's
But
true. That's me.
um, and what about the leap to setting up your
Yeah.
own thing?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Again, it was with my health. So with the nature of my disease. If anyone else has got a chronic illness or invisible illness, I see you guys in here. Give me a little wave because we hide, but we're here. So, with the nature of mine, it goes up and down in flares. And so, when I was diagnosed, I had a really rough first 2 years. I had my job that was keep giving me a bit of money, but it was going up and down, up and down. In 2019, so I'd started working for like I was working in amazing marketing places. I did it was another event space. I used to run brunch parties, really popular marketing brunch parties across the UK. And my health in 2019 got so terrible. Like I was very, very sick. And I'd moved out when I was 17. I hadn't lived at home, but I got to a point where I couldn't look after myself anymore. And I had to move home with my mum and my grandma after I was 27. So long time, long time. Moved in my mum, and my grandma because I couldn't look after myself anymore. My mum was poorly herself and my grandma was 90 something. Like it was a lot, but I had to move in.
Mm,
And 2019, 2020, we all know what was happening. The world was going through the pandemic, and my friends, who were majority of them were in the creative industries, as I lost my ability to work, they lost theirs too, but because the world shut down. And I was getting inundated with messages saying, because they knew my background in marketing, saying, Jess, can you help me? I've just started a resin ashtray business. Can you help me promote it? And all these like singers turned into coaches and people starting side hustles to make a bit of money because they'd lost everything. And I was getting messages upon messages. And my mum one day said to me, I bet you can charge for that. And I was like, what? No, I can't. She's like, Jessica, the next person who messages you for advice, I want you to tell them, yeah, that's fine. It'll be £25, please, and we can get on a call. And I was like, okay, like maybe, I don't know. And so in about an hour's time, no joke, someone messaged me, hey Jess, I was wondering if you could help me. I've just started a postbox brownie business. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's okay. We could jump on a call. It'll be £25. And they said, yeah, that sounds great. When can we chat? And then I looked at my mom and I was like, what do I do now? I didn't know how to send an invoice. I didn't know how to set up a call. Like I was s such a good marketing head, did not have a freelancer business brain at all. That
mm.
I had to learn all of that as I went on. But that was the beginning.
I think we underestimate, don't we? Like even after, I've been doing it 10 plus 15, probably maybe coming up to years. We never kind of get our heads around actually having to do everything and like maybe giving ourselves the credit for that either, like the credit that
Right.
we've had to like learn everything or, you know, literally run every single element of the business. Like we're HR, we're like, don't feel like going to work today. Um, okay, so that's when did it start?
The business,
Yeah.
that
So
25
20,
pound. Oh,
so what
2020.
year was
So
that?
like
2020.
the end of 2020, like very much the end. And then 2021, I was like roughing it in the business streets. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, but I started posting on, so I had a personal Instagram account. I didn't have a business Instagram account. And I just thought, well, it's just my friends who are asking for advice. So let me just start posting like blanket support for them. And maybe, I can charge someone else £25. And so I started posting all of this stuff on my personal account, which was previously only used as an extension of my Tinder. It was like the majority of my followers on there were boys that I wanted to do. Like, this is my Tinder, but this is my Instagram. Like, I'd never
So
done
you're
business
presenting
stuff over
yourself
there.
pretty well though, you weren't like unloading the
Yeah.
dishwasher or anything.
Yeah, it was well presented, but I was hemorrhaging followers and I didn't know why. Every time I'd post Instagram tips and content tips, everyone would leave. And I was like, oh, wait, that's just like Tom from Tinder. That's fine. They can go. But that's how it started. I started posting content and I started very early finding these spaces and places where more people like me were. And I didn't really have a niche or a target audience, but I knew like where I thrived was where I was great was helping these brand new creatives who were switching over into business. So I was trying to find like creative business spaces and I found a few communities like Found and Flourish was one of the first communities I found by Lara Sheldrake and she was
Mm.
actually one of my first ever clients.
Wow.
I
Uh,
pitched her in the DMs.
So at what point did it go from like this one-to-one thing where you were like, this doesn't make sense as a business model to me at the moment, I want to evolve the business model
Yeah,
to where you're at now?
yeah. So in 2022, the beginning of 2022, I decided I wanted to start a membership. I was doing, at that point, I'd kind of brought on some retainer clients. So Lara from Founder Flourish was my first one-to-one retainer client. And I had a couple more, and I was growing my page because I was kind of practicing what I preached in my corporate world into my own world. And I'd never gone viral or anything. This is all just kind of through organic. And I decided to start a membership at the beginning of 2022. And I just jerry-rigged it. I wanted to provide templates and have everything there. And that was my first kind of second stream of income. But as that evolved, 2022 was also the worst year of my life as well in business. Like, I was so poorly. I got really, really sick again, and my mum passed away in 2022. And at this point, I was still playing really small because I was so sick. I thought the version of myself online needed to be like business Barbie. Like, she was pink. I'm quite pink now anyway, but she was pink. She was shiny. She was only sharing like educational tips and also like pretty pictures of myself. Like, it was never anything real. It worked, but it didn't feel real. Like, I even like talked a lot about like Disney. Like, not I'm a Disney girl, but I would use loads of Disney references to talk about marketing. I think I did that because I wanted to come across as this like perfect human. But on the back end of the business, even though I just started the membership, my life was really hard. And I thought about the reason I'd started my business was to be myself and have freedom and not to kind of try and fit into a mold, like, and not, I did this for me. And so I put a poll up on my Instagram story, I remember, and I asked people, would you still take me seriously in business if I started sharing a bit more about my health journey behind the scenes? Would you hire me as a marketer if if I started talking more about my life and what was going on? And I did it when there was Instagram polls. Do you guys remember the AB poll? And
Mm.
I'm gonna ask the
And
chat.
what was the result?
I'm going to ask the
No,
chat,
yeah.
what do you
Yes.
guys think? What do you think? Do you think people said, yes, go for it, Jess? Like, we'll still buy your stuff? Or do you think they said, no, I wouldn't take it seriously? What do you think they said? I've been thinking about the same thing. Yes, go for it. Yes, yes, yes. Nice, nice. Okay.
Obviously, a yes.
It's obviously a yes, but it was actually, I had 57%. I could have a screenshot. 57% said no, they wouldn't take me seriously. I did say be honest. So, but a lot of people said no, they wouldn't take me seriously. Of course, the other 42% said yes, and that's all great. But a lot of people said no, they wouldn't take me seriously if I started, adding more of my personal journey into it. And I had paragraphs and paragraphs from people telling me why. And it was like a lot of them said, I'd fear that you wouldn't be able to execute the work, and stuff along those lines. Yeah, fuck 'em is what I had to tell myself,
The
Stephanie.
chat's going off today.
The
It's great. There's so much.
chat's popping off.
There's
57% are worried about sharing their own shit and projecting. Penny knows it. Penny knows. But like, I had to make a decision that day. I just started this kind of fledgling membership. My life was in turmoil. I wasn't happy. I still wasn't making any fucking money. And I was like, something has to change, right? I can either continue trying to be like business Barbie, or I can say fuck it and start posting my stuff and kind of build my business more intuitively and make my offers and make everything revolve more around me and my life and my journey, and my expertise can kind of revolve in there. And when I decided to do that, everything changed. Unfortunately, I decided to do that in the worst year of my life, and 2022 was a complete write-off. My I just started getting the momentum going, and then on my birthday, February the 22nd, 2022, my mum passed away. And so I had 4 weeks, I think like a month off of business completely. I just
mm,
couldn't do anything, couldn't move. And I won't go into grief too much, but she's the person that started my business, really.
mm,
So it was a
yeah.
lot. But so I had time off there. But because of what I'd done at the beginning of that year and decided I'm not going to hide that, I didn't hide that. I came back and started talking about it and started growing. People resonated with me, and I was bringing in more members to the membership. And they weren't booking in to get grief counseling from me. They were booking in because they saw how authentic I was and they wanted to take some of that and put it into their business as well. If you look at my page, like I'm not opening my knicker drawer and sharing my deepest, darkest secrets. I'm just letting go of this facade. And so I did that, and
Mm,
the business was growing. And I actually, from there, started my group program as well. I noticed from the membership, there was a gap between people they didn't want to do one-to-one, but they needed more support in the membership. So I then created my program, Watch Us Grow, which I'm on its fifth container now. But I launched that. And then right at the end of my group program in October 2022, I had to have emergency surgery to remove my large colon. So my disease is ulcerative colitis, and it got to a point where I couldn't function anymore. And then I had to have another 12 weeks or something like that in recovery from that surgery and just learning how to live with a stoma bag, which I love her, but you have to learn how to do a new body. And my membership was ticking over, which helped keep some recurring income. But my one-to-one clients paused. The group program was finished. I basically ran out of every money again, but thank God I was on morphine because everything I was like, it's going to be fine.
business tip for anyone if you can get hold
Business
of
tip,
no. Oh,
oral morph. No, I'm joking. No, but I had this kind of delusional headspace that I was like, you know what? If I can sustain myself through 2022 and I've started to gain traction, I've found my voice online and I'm using all these marketing stuff. I had the fire in my belly once I'd recovered to come back. And 2023 was an incredible year. And 2024, I hit my first six-figure year in business. And now obviously it's wonderful. Six figures revenue, not six figures profit, but still for me, huge achievement. And
absolutely.
2025, I've got my program, my membership is still going, my group and my one-to-one, and I've added in the events now. And the driver behind all of it is being able to post this raw, unapologetic, imperfect content that says what I want to say, and I don't have to hide anything. And if people don't like that, that's fine. Tom from Tinder, you can leave. You never gave me anything anyway.
Um, oh, where to start with this really, and ugh, yeah, so inspirational. Um, I was going to ask you about kind of all of the shit that you've been through, kind of giving you that kind of blank canvas and giving you that kind of like what could giving you that kind of incentive to kind of go, well, what we can't really get worse than that to some extent, kind of. So I might as well go for it.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm used to. So before having a business, I was used to living in overdraft life. Like I've never ever had any money. I started the business, I think, with like minus £500 in a Monzo account and 20p in my main account. And like I survived. I survived. If I could survive that, and I could survive, like my mum would always tell me, it's so hard around like sustaining ourselves, but my mum would always say the money always comes. The money always comes. The money will always be there. You will always find everyone in this room, we're business owners, we're fucking clever. Like we will find a way to make the money. If it's not from the business, it'll be from somewhere else. And I think another thing which has sustained my business is that without an ego, I would I'm very open to like I think I just know like if shit really hits a fan, which it has a million times, I've proven myself time and time again that I can keep going. And
mm,
I'm humble enough to find ulterior ways to make money. Like if I needed to get a part-time job in my local Tesco's, I would do that with nothing holding me back. I don't have to do
yeah.
that right now, but I think because I don't like see any prejudice around that option, knowing that it's there, that gives me
Mm.
like hope and keeps kind of I feel like it's all going to be okay.
Yeah, it's like letting go of the idea of what success looks like, right?
There we go.
And that kind
Everyone,
of freeing
that's
you up
it. Yes,
because you're
exactly.
not kind of having this like, well, if I do this and it fails, then I don't want to do that in case it does fail. So
Yeah.
letting go of that, I think, is really really helpful sometimes. And again, I try to live like that. I say that one of my business mantras is kind of like I don't mind what happens. So you
Mm,
can't control everything, but it's always nice to kind of have that reminder, isn't it? And I think it is so powerful when you have that kind of blank canvas or the shit hits the fan. I mean, you can't create that for you know, you'd never want to create that for yourself in your life, would you? But it is also a reminder that when things get really, really tough, that yeah, you build resilience then and you come back from that. And I just wanted to ask you a little bit about you know, your journey into present like being yourself online and like those boundaries and like, you know, since you've started doing that, has there been a journey from like finding out like what being yourself online looks like to you? Do you know what I mean? So like was it kind of like a, I mean, I've had it in terms of like
Mm.
using when I started using my own tone of voice on LinkedIn, where
Mm.
that change initially felt really, you know, it felt much easier to be formal. As soon as you kind of did it, it was like, well, how did I ever write not in my own tone of voice? So there was kind of an instant thing. But then is there, yeah, are you know, did you have a period of kind of feeling what being yourself looked like to you?
It's like telling someone to be themselves is the hardest thing ever. Like, what even is my tone of voice? How do I even find out who I am? In the beginning, I was the same. I feel like ChatGPT was modeled off of how I used to post. It was so formal. It was so M dash. It was so rocket emoji. I really thought I had to present myself so well, but genuinely, the way I found my tone of voice was, and the way it helped me was instead of type, I'm level 1000 dyslexic. Like I loved doing my talk at Creator Day, but I looked back at the slides, I was like, oh, there was so many typos.
I didn't see any typos, and I
Okay,
that's normally my
okay,
jam. I'm not really, but you know, I'm not normally like, oh, that could be
okay, that's good. I'm
capital.
glad. But even though I put it through, like, I don't, my dyslexia is so bad, it doesn't make it through Grammarly. It doesn't make it through ChatGPT. It still like cuts through. But saying that, I found my tone of voice quite, I found it easier to transcribe. So I will talk my caption into my notes app. And so I don't need to do this now because I've got better at writing, but I would speak into a notes app and write it all down. And then I'd format it from there. And that really helped. And I started adding in my like little colloquialisms, like the emojis that I use and the phrases that I use. Like I was brought up in North London, so I use quite North London phrases, but adding those little words in that own like you say in your day to day can really help. Like how you use the taco emoji. I love that. That's so you. That's so you. It's a lovely little touch there. And every time I see it, I'm like, oh, there she is. You know? It's
Can never leave that. I can never get rid of the tacos
no,
now,
you
can I?
can't. But I even like having a little emoji wheelhouse that you revolve around can help. But yeah,
I really, really like that advice because I just can't get rid of the emojis. I just can't
mm,
stop using them.
no, they're perfect.
So yeah, that's good. I'm glad to hear from someone, you know, more on vogue than me that that's still okay.
It's the best thing ever. But yeah, if you're struggling to find your tone of voice online, stop typing and start talking into your phone, and then you can kind of read that back and format it and let it be imperfect. Let there be like ungrammatically correct phrases because that is you.
Absolutely. Can I ask you, like, at the moment, like, do you ever are you ever a lurker now, or do you ever like do you get days now where you're like, oh, I can't post today, or I intended on posting today, or like, what's your own kind of like, do you set goals for yourself, like in terms of frequency and things like that? And yeah, and do you ever kind of think, nah, not today?
Yeah, every day. No, I'm joking. I love doing content now, but there are obviously days and periods of time where you feel so disconnected from it. And I think because I've had to have multiple unexpected breaks from the business when I couldn't even in like times of turmoil. Going through that, I know that like you can unplug from your business for an extended amount of time and come back and scale because I've only done that and I've done that multiple times. And if you are in a period right now, if I go through a period where I'm like, I just can't, I just won't because it's not that deep. And the building that I've done to this point will has legs and that will continue doing it for me. With social media specifically, people think, oh, it's you do one post and no one, it won't go anywhere. No, it's not how it works. Like LinkedIn, especially, your post from last week could still be popping off. Like the way it works with like interactions and even on Instagram, like the only thing that lasts for 24 hours really is stories, but content has more of a long tail effect now. So if you want to take a week or two off, it's not gonna have much damage to you. But what I do to keep myself consistent and to kind of keep that fire in my belly, I'll tell you my routine. So I will not post more than 3 times a week, like grid content. Otherwise, it's too much for me. I know a lot of people are like, you should post multiple times a day and volume is king. And I'm seeing a lot of stuff around that at the moment. But 3 really good posts per week is more than enough for me and it keeps me happy. I love making content. I will set I will plan out my content calendar. So I'll know the topic of the post and why I'm posting it. And I always reverse engineer it from what I need in the business first. So I look at once a month, I'll look at the month ahead. I do this in my membership. It's called like the big batch. We do it once a month. I did it myself. So I just like, fuck it, let me bring everyone else to do it with me. And I'll ask myself, what am I doing for the next 4 weeks? And what are my need to posts? And what are my nice to posts? Need to posts are like, I've got this launch happening and I looks like I've got a gap in my one-to-one. Let me try and fill that. So I'll pop in my need to posts and then I'll sprinkle in some nice to posts, which are content that will help with my brand awareness. So anything kind of spicy or attract or opinion led, I like putting that in, like talking about what's going on in the industry and also like founder led content as well. Building in public, I really like, but it always starts with the need to posts first. And I would do
That's
that,
such good advice.
plan that calendar out in like notes, and then I schedule in an hour every morning from Monday to Friday in my calendar called content. And in that content hour, I can create a piece of content, I can repurpose a piece of content, I can send an email. I If it takes me 5 minutes or 10 minutes, fabulous. I get to have the rest of that time off. But I always put content in at the top of my calendar. Otherwise, I won't do it. I won't execute it because I do all my client stuff first. So
Mm,
yeah, plan it all out once a
this is,
month and then
yeah,
put a little note in my calendar at the top of the day.
this is gold. Yeah, I love the fact that you are limiting yourself so you keep the fire in your belly. It reminds me of an article we had uh in Austin, our church had an article, and he was saying about like how do you expect to have regular kind of client inquiries and regular clients if you don't have a regular marketing habit. And he said the same thing, like he was like it's marketing for an hour every morning for him.
Yeah.
And there's also an article in the issue that's just dropped called Canary KPIs in the money section. I don't know if people have read it yet, but it's about kind of reverse engineering, like working out actually, for instance, how many posts you need to do to get what you need. And I think, oh, it's just, yeah, it's like the stuff that's so obvious, isn't it? But actually, we're sort of here all scratching our heads going, oh, what to post about? What to post about? I just need to post about something.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know. I really love the way it's harder to describe without a flow diagram, but I think, if we can describe it, if you can describe it, kind of just appearing though, and you talked about kind of, okay, let me say that like I've had a lot of people in the past say to me, oh, I don't like it when people look at my profile. Like I feel it weird that people have reviewed my profile on LinkedIn, or like when I view someone else's profile, and I'm kind of thinking, scratching my head, going, like, surely that's the whole point. So just explain, like, do you remember this flow diagram you put up at Creator Day that was like, what is the point of kind of posting, and what are the things that can happen off the back of that?
Yes. I've got it here if I can share my screen.
Let's
If you
see.
want us to see. It's okay if not. I'm
Yeah,
ready to
go for
go.
it. You can
Shall
go.
I?
You can go. Yeah, do it.
Amazing.
Can I just ask before I forget that not Tom, Gary's asked, what do you use for content creation? Do you use any third
I am the
party?
most basic girl in the whole world. My whole thing is least path of resistance. Otherwise, I don't do it. So I will use my notes app for a lot of like my brain dumping and inspiration. And
Yeah.
I've strategically pinned my notes. I use Canva. I love my Canva. So I have all of my graphic templates in there, but I'm kind of transitioning more out of too heavily graphic led templates and more using like images and pictures of myself. And so that's why I really recommend when I onboard a new client, the first task for them is to get new headshots and to shoot some B-roll. That's the first task, unless they've just done it, which is fabulous. But it's worth, I think, maybe once or twice a year, refreshing your headshots and refreshing your B-roll. And what I mean by B-roll is like short clips of you in action. So you like if you are a coach, videos of you coaching, videos of you typing, videos of you doing something that makes you looks like you're in action. And then so I have the folders of pictures of me and my B-roll, and then I'll have like loads of like client testimonials, everything at a grasp. I call it the folder, I call it the mother, like you know, kombucha. There's like the mother. So I have the mother, and then I have in there photos, videos, and that and testimonials. And then in Canva, I've got my um graphics I can drag and drop stuff into. And then for actually editing videos, I use Instagram's edits. I used to use
Mm.
CapCut for video, but that got really expensive and really confusing, and I couldn't, there was too many options. I don't like having too many options. I also do a lot of video editing in Canva itself. I try and keep things
Mm.
really simple. And then I will schedule, if I want to schedule content, I do it manually through the app. So I'll do stuff like I usually post
Is it
major
mainly
things.
LinkedIn and Instagram that you're using?
LinkedIn and Instagram, and then I use a tool called repurpose.io, and that will automatically like so my networking content, my events will get repurposed to LinkedIn without me even thinking about it because I use an app for that. Um, but yeah.
Those are your two main. Like, do you use other social channels at all?
I I can't with TikTok, mainly because it just drains me and I find myself I get stuck there and it doesn't feel good. But I will use the app too much. But yeah, I use Instagram is my primary platform and LinkedIn is my secondary, but they're kind of on par at the moment. I'm enjoying both of them. And then I use email.
Makes sense. And can I ask, as part of your strategy and this kind of need versus nice,
Yeah.
where does asking for a friend, where does growing a database fit into that?
Ah, okay. So I use a system. So I use a content funnel system called Attract, Warm, and Convert. If you know about funnels or like the classic marketing funnel, you'll know that. But I stick with three. And my convert content is anything that has a direct call to action to something that I'm needing to sell. So that's like, oh, I need to sell my one-to-one. Oh, I'm going to sell like 30 new member spaces this month. That goes into convert. That's my need to have. Nice to have will be my warm and attract content. So, warm content is anything founder led, anything that people who already follow you will kind of understand when you post it. That can be something like, this is what I did in June, or like anything that is like behind the scenes building. If you already know me, you'll understand this, or if you don't know me, you might kind of understand it. And so in that warm content, it isn't really a call to action. It's just to kind of have that brand awareness going, but to nurture the people who already follow you. Attract content is where you can put in your freebies, put in your lead gen for growing your email list as well. So attract content is what content we want to go far and wide, and it can be around anything that's got the word free on it. You'll usually get people joining or like finding you. So attract content will do that. And I like attract content to kind of jump onto something that's already that way you can position yourself as a thought leader. So you can attach yourself to something that's happening in the news that's got something to do with your industry, like newsjacking and all of that good stuff is where the nice to haves. And over the course of the month, once I put in my need to haves, then I'll put in my nice to haves. And so that can be probably like a 60-40 split or a 70-40 split. Now, unless you are launching something for the first time. So if you're launching something or relaunching something, then I'd have everything looking like just pointing towards that one offer, that one service, that one link for a period of time. Like I like to do a 4-week launch, but I know other people like other things. I like to give myself lots of time to do it. Like 8 days just
Mm.
feels a bit like nervous system wrecking.
Wow.
Oh,
Are you,
sorry.
do you
Is
think
that
we should share this
helpful?
flow diagram? Yeah, it's like it's so helpful. I think people are scribbling away.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Let
is
me.
the share screen going to work?
I can, but I'm just thinking.
It does. It,
Oh yeah, so we're talking about how people see your content from their point of view, the
yeah,
journey. Yeah?
yeah, and I never like. I think this is kind of in LinkedIn for humans as well, but I feel like I can never be reminded of this enough.
Yeah.
Like this is how it works. This is why we're doing it.
Yeah, I love this bit. So when we always think of ourselves as content, and I content kind of feels like a mirror, but when I when I look in a mirror too long, I just pick all of my spots and everything gets awful. Instead, we need to think about how do users actually find our content and what do they do when they see it? So it all starts when they see your post when they're just scrolling. It's rare that someone's you can be on social media for strategic reasons, for strategic content consumption, but usually they're just there for the lols. So they see your post in the scroll. And then they have two options. They can either view your profile or they'll make a mental note. Oh, they look really cool. That's what happens. They could then view your profile, make a mental note, and see you and scroll again. But usually that's where it starts. They see your post and scroll. They either view your profile or they make a mental note until they see your post and scroll again. Or they could see your post and scroll, view your profile, click your link, but not really take an action. They'll just make a mental note and I'll come back when I see you post again in a few weeks' time. Or they'll see your post and scroll, view your profile, click your link, then take an action, like buy the thing. But all of this whole journey depends on one thing. And I wonder if the chat knows what that one thing is. The hook, trust. Any other guesses what that one thing could be? Jan, 10 Gryffindor points for you, Jan. I don't know if that's your Harry Potter house, but it's all about seeing your post. It all relies on your post. And I hate the word consistency, but everything, your whole funnel relies on you being there in the first place and you posting because 9 times out of 10, people usually make a mental note. Like I think the stat has changed now. It's like an old marketing saying around someone needs to
Seven
see you
times.
7 times, right? To do
I think
something.
it's like 700 or something
It's
now. Well, I made that up,
genuinely
but I think
no,
it probably is.
it's different now. It's different now because of the competition out there and the shiny object syndrome and like the AI fucking slop. Like it's it's a lot now. All you can control with your content. This is why I say fuck the algorithm because you can't control any other thing apart from you and how you show up. And if you're trying to be something else, and if you're trying to be this like shiny Barbie perfect version of you, that's going to stop you from showing up in the first place. So if you can at least take control of that thing and then sprinkle in some strategy afterwards, that's where it happens.
That's just put in the chat what we're all thinking. But fuck, I think I need to stop posting.
Yeah, but think, yes, you need to start posting because it's built my business where it is now. But yeah, it was the posting, but it was like getting over myself and just like letting go of whoever I thought I had to be and being myself. There's so much strategy in being yourself, right? But if
Mm,
you can just say what you really mean, it's so much easier to show up. It's why I say fuck it posting. That's my art. The art of saying fuck it and posting it anyway. It gets you so far.
yeah. Um, the other thing, like, it was a silly thing. I mean, so much, like I said, she sort of like inspired, resonated, caused me to tear up, everything, when you talk. But there was something that, and I don't feel like I'm a person that's like, oh, I can't post this unless I get 100 likes or,
Mm.
X amount of likes. I don't think I'm that person. And actually, if a post does badly, I kind of think, oh, well, I'll just leave it and then like see if I can work out, why that was, because it makes more sense
Yeah.
to me than deleting it. But you said in the talk, well, your talk was, the talk is positioned as, uh, oh, my internet's slowing down. Sorry. Or was that me? I think I'm a bit slow. Um, that you built this business on an average of 30 likes,
Yes.
and
Yes.
you know it just kind of freed me in terms of going 30 likes, 20 likes, 10 likes, 50 likes. It doesn't matter, like,
No.
I don't know why that stuck with me in particular. And it's not like I even then think, but it just kind of let me let go of something, and I don't know what that was. But yeah, I think that's just really important to kind of, you know like, again, not to use the word consistency again, but yeah, kind of thinking about, if you show up more regularly and get 10 likes a post or 20 likes a post or 30 likes a post, or it doesn't really even matter likes, does it? Because actually the posts I get the least likes on are when people have actually taken action and clicked through to a link, because they're not
Yeah.
going to like and click through to a link.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think letting go of having to get a certain amount of likes. And you talk a lot about kind of like limiting beliefs as well, and kind of letting go of these limiting beliefs. And yeah, and what your limiting beliefs were or are. And I just, yeah, that was really, really powerful to me as well. So would you share some of your limiting beliefs with us?
Of course. Of course. I have, and I hold on to, and I say to myself all the time, I've built a business. I've built a six-figure business on an average of 30 likes a post. And I have to tell myself that over and over again to remind myself that it is possible. But by design, social media, even email marketing, all of it is attached to these numbers, and numbers make us feel like shit. I've worked with people who have 100,000 followers, who have 2,000 followers, 100 followers, and they all come to me with the same thing. It doesn't feel like it's enough. They want more. They're not getting the conversions in. So it really helped me learn, like in the beginning, oh fuck, these numbers that we're all chasing, they actually don't mean anything. What does make a difference is the resonance. It's the resonance to find that tone of voice that sticks. You don't need to resonate with 100 million people. You just need to resonate with like one or two people, or even like just your fucking self to make a difference. The more we tell ourselves 30 likes is shit and I will never be good at content, it's never enough, my post like shit, the truer that becomes in our brain. And we're really good at
Mm,
telling ourselves this neuroplasticity. The more these thoughts come into your brain, the more they spin and spin and spin, the truer they become in your body. And that will stop you from posting. Like someone said in the chat, fuck, I need to post more. One of the reasons could potentially be your body's like protecting you from posting because it feels like something that's going to harm you. Because if it doesn't have the immediate effect, like likes, or if it doesn't have the immediate conversion, that's going to cause you harm and something inside you will stop you from posting. So, what I like
mm,
to do is say them out loud. And I did this at the talk. I made everyone look to each other and say, tell the person next to you what your limiting belief is, because then that's you can get it out of your head and you can just take ownership of it. So if anyone feels comfortable enough, I'd love for you to share in the chat what is maybe your running belief about your content, about your personal brand, about how you show up. That you're being really horrible to yourself about. And as if you do share it in the chat, I'll happily tell you mine. And mine come in to my brain every day. It's not like they're not there. I just have a thicker skin around them because I've taken ownership of them. They're not just going in my head now. I've written them down. Mine are, it's pity likes. So if someone does like my post, they obviously feel sorry for me. That's the only reason why they've liked it. Mine are 30 likes means nobody cares. I look too fat. I'm way too fat. I can't post that. I look too ugly. That doesn't look professional enough. I'm not qualified. Who am I to say this? And thank you guys for sharing them in the chat.
So
It's
many. And I'm like,
so,
I'm just nodding along to like
yeah,
I'm just nodding along to all of them.
yeah. What?
Oh God, we should have like like we should like have a team photo day where we have to just come and like because I've been putting off like new photos for like 5 years now. And yeah.
The beauty
Um
about this, now we've got it's doom and gloom in the chat right now, right? We're reading this and going, fuck, you feel like that, and I feel like that. The magic of it is that neuroplasticity works both ways, and you can start changing what this thought process is. They will most probably never not be there, but now you've said it out loud, and if you can continue to say out loud, you can create something that I like to call a clap back. So when your brain says, I'm just so shit at content, you can reply to that thought with, but I'm getting better with every post. When your brain says, I'm not qualified enough, you can reply with, I'm more than qualified enough and give it some proof. Like, look at this testimonial. I've worked with 400 small business owners. So I'd like you, we've got a bit of time. I want you to, what you've written in the chat, don't just leave it in the chat. Make sure you screenshot it or you save it for yourself. And I want you to think of a clap back you have for it. How could you reply with a truth? How could you reply with a
mm.
truth? Because that's what's going to keep you going. And if you find a truth that you really like, my one is my voice has value, that one just resonates with me on a some kind of level. I want you to put it in places that will surprise your unconsciousness because your unconsciousness is constantly telling you how shit you are. Write down my voice has value or your alternative on a post-it note and put it in your on your bathroom mirror. Put it on your laptop when you open it. Make it your phone screensaver so you are surprised by this phrase consistently, just as you are surprised by the phrases that tell you how shit you are. And it's little things like that that will help you find at least resistance to posting because you're helping yourself.
I think it's kind of interesting, like when you shared your limiting beliefs, I find them quite shocking. And then I
Mm,
realize that I have, the same ones. And then I think, why am I finding that shocking for someone else when, my sister said to me the other day, and I don't think she'll mind me sharing this, she's wanted to get her hair cut short, short. She's got really long hair. She's wanted to go really short for ages. And
mm.
she's telling herself she needs to lose like 3 more pounds or something. And I was
Yeah.
like, could you imagine if I said to you or a friend said to you, like you were like, oh, I want to get my hair cut. And then your friend said to you, I think you probably
You
need to
should
lose
lose a bit
about
of
three
weight.
pounds before you get your hair cut. Like
Yeah.
you would never
Never.
talk to someone else, never let anyone else talk to you like this, would you? I think that's always a really interesting thing to go, what if someone else said this to me? How would I feel?
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
but you wouldn't, would you?
No.
Oh. Um, we must talk about networking because it's obviously the time has absolutely flown. I did have a panic at like 1 minute to one when um I thought, oh my God, it's 1 o'clock. We started at 12:30. Um, how did the idea come from networking? Yeah.
Yeah. So networking is a day rave that I host for business owners. It's I missed music in my life. I really missed going out, but I had no intention of going anywhere at night, anywhere past like 8 p.m. with like music I don't like and people I don't know. And I wanted to, I just feel like as business owners, we are so like sat at our desk and we're so stagnant and we don't ever just have guilt-free time. I love networking. I love keynotes. I love going to these things and learning things, but I wanted to create a tax deductible party for us all that didn't just have to be at Christmas. I wanted to break up the week. So it's like it's on a Thursday, it's in the middle of the afternoon, and you get to just come along. It's still a business event. There are business owners in the room, but there's a DJ and there's drinks and there's games and there's a twerk lesson and it's so fun. And it's so needed for us, and I needed it. And I always say, if no one ever comes, like I'll just go on my own and have the best time. People have always come. But I really missed it, and I wanted to create something that breaks up the work week that's still for business. It gets us to move, and it's so, but it doesn't just have to be at Christmas. Yeah.
I'm coming to the next one, but literally my limiting belief goes, um, I am like hilariously like I don't like twerking, literally, I don't know. I'm like, oh, I can't even, tell me to stop being ridiculous and just literally get
It's
my
the
ass in
most
gear.
fun. You're not coming to learn how to be a twerk instructor. You're just coming so you can take 4 hours off of
I
business
want my
whilst
money back if I'm not
it's
by the
so
end.
it's so fun. People do it and everyone's just like laughing the whole time. Like it's brain food for your business. It really is.
And do we know when the next one is?
Yes, pencil in the 4th of September. It's called Back to Twerk. The venue is TBC. It's going to be in London. I've got two venues that I'm warring with. Oh, birthday. What I really want to do, what my vision is for the event is to, you know how for parties you can tell someone it's your birthday and you get like a discount. I want to ask people if it's like their business birthday, and so they can celebrate their business birthday with their business friends at networking. Random thought, but that's what I want to do
Very
with it.
nice. And where can we find out about this? Where can we find out about you? Where can we connect with you?
The best place is either LinkedIn or Instagram. I'll put my Instagram in the chat just so you can find me. If you do follow me, DM me a wave so I know it's you, and then we can have a bit of a yap. But find me there, and all the paths will go to LinkedIn or my website or my offers. Yeah,
I feel like Claire's just put what everyone in the chat's put what I'm thinking today, but Claire's put, please bring back to twerk to the north. I think we do need a Leeds.
I know, but I'm just a
Even
girl,
in
you know.
London.
I'm just one person.
Yeah, we could maybe help with that. Um, just thank you so, so much. Thank you so much to everyone for coming along today and making it like such a good like live and getting involved in the chat. I really want to download the chat because it was just, and I'll send it on to Jess as well. I knew this was going to be awesome. Yeah, it's been crazy inspirational. We're going to be doing more with Jess. You'll be really pleased to know. So yeah, Freelancer Magazine, Jess Bruno collabs are going to be heavy in the future and continuing. Everyone's twerk on tour to Italy. Gosh,
Fly me over.
um,
Fly
Merv said it's
me
her
over.
birthday as well,
Yeah,
so her
listen,
actual birthday.
listen.
Um, there will be a recording of this if you want to take down all of these tips that have come out of it and have give yourself a pep talk again. Yeah, just thank you so much, Jess. It's been
You're so
amazing.
welcome. It's been wonderful being here. You guys are so cool. Like, it's been a good energy in the room. It's lovely to see you guys so interactive. And if anybody has ever any content questions or needs a bit of a pep talk, please DM me. I'm active in there, so it won't go into the ether.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Get ready to be inundated. Thanks everyone, and thank you so much, Jess. And
Thanks.
yeah, see you at the next one.
Bye. 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 Bye.